Dave, we had Dagenham on Saturday, and I suppose we're on this great bit of form, especially at home. Has it been such a positive reaction in training over the last few days?
Yeah, it almost becomes easier in the fact that there's less things to sort of talk about. What does happen is we're in a climate that means you don't massively get to celebrate what's happened previously. You move on and try and replicate what you've done previously a few days later. So after the game, quick turnaround. We train the following day. Lads do recovery. We top up the lads that need a little bit, and straight away focus changes to travelling to Dagenham to hopefully go and back up what we did on Tuesday and get another positive result.
There was so many, when we talk about Tuesday's victory, there was so many fantastic individual performances. We can look at Lewis Cass or Ryan Johnson being captain, but I know a lot of fans were intrigued with Tom White coming in playing 70 minutes. Was that always going to be the case, him getting 70 minutes and getting his fitness back up?
Yeah, look, we have to be careful. I think you can ultimately be guided by what you see visually, and we could we thought he was getting a little bit leggy. They obviously changed their system and played with a diamond in midfield, put an extra body in there, which then we had to be reactive of in terms of making substitutions and being 2-0 up, almost going and matching them up. So I suppose we had the luxury of being in front in the game, other things going on around us, which allowed us to make that decision to take him off. It would have been more difficult if potentially the game would have been close, or it would have been on a sort of knife edge to do that, because we probably knew that maximally that would be what we get out of him. He probably could have got to 90 minutes, but again, that would have then put the next game in a little bit of risk. So we've got to manage his load for the next few weeks, just to get him back up to speed of playing football and playing this level of football and the physical requirements of what we need from him on an individual basis.
So just looking at training this week, obviously we've had so much snow in this area. How's that been? Has that affected much? It's been quite thick snow, I imagine, on the 3G or 4G.
Yeah, it was yesterday certainly. We trained a little bit later, so we started at 11. Session going quite swimmingly when I arrived, and then sort of all of a sudden 11:30, the heavens absolutely opened for 10 minutes, and there was 2 inches of snow on the 3G. We had a couple of yellow balls, which helped. Certainly the New Balance balls we use that are black and white don't really help in the snow. But we managed to clear an area by pushing goals around for a bit, which made snow pile up, and we got out of the session what we needed to get out of the session. Like I say, for the lads who played, it was a recovery, takes care of itself, really pretty simple. The lads who needed a little bit more, there were some challenges, but challenges that we got through, and we got out of the session what we needed to, which puts everyone in a good place, looking certainly for the weekend in terms of what they need physically, depending on what their involvement has been over the past couple of weeks. So all good. Looking forward to a trip down south and a cold trip down south on tomorrow morning.
As we look to that game on Saturday, Dagenham haven't won in 4, and they had that crazy game at Notts County the other night where they probably feel so unfortunate they couldn't take advantage of Notts County going down to 10 men and midfielder going in goal. What's your overall assessment, and what do you expect from Dagenham and Redbridge?
Again, they're a team that are hurting a little bit, and confidence is taking a bit of a knock. He's got a good manager. I've known Darryl a long time. He's proven himself as a young manager, and has done really, really well. I suppose their expectations, as with most teams at the start of the season, would be that they were up at the top and they were up fighting for playoffs minimum. And you look at the squad on paper, the players in there have all been involved in playoffs, or the majority have been involved in playoffs and promotions from this division in the past couple of years. Excuse me. So they aren't in a position that they expect to be, aren't as a position that they want to be, and they're being, I suppose, tested a little bit because they're not getting results. We've got to use that as a positive to us and jump on the back of it and put them under pressure. We're going there, like I say, full of confidence, but still with the same intent to every game. We want to get at them. We want to get against them. We want to put them under pressure. We want to force mistakes like we did on Tuesday, and most importantly, take advantage of those mistakes. And I say hopefully that'll be the case.
So just looking at the weekend and looking at the squad overall, can you give me just an overall squad update and injury update?
We're looking in decent shape. From obviously Fed's still out, and probably the earliest for him a couple of weeks. So maybe Barney, if we see him back before Barney, I think it will be a big plus, and something we're probably not expecting. And again, even if that was the case, probably wouldn't look to risk anything more with a longer term view on things. Crofts in the game on Tuesday, probably similar to Shelts a couple of weeks back. He's broken a bone in his hand, so he had an X-ray. He's seen a specialist this afternoon just to see again situation. Obviously, Shelts, when he's got a specialist, got the all clear to be able to play with a strap in and not be casted. And then if that's the case, then we can involve him. If it's not, and we get told otherwise, then he's the only one that could potentially miss out. Nothing serious enough from the game on Tuesday to mean that we've got players that we can't pick. We're in a good position, and we can pick the team that we think can go to Dagenham on Saturday and win.
And just finally, talking about your selection, how hard does it become for yourself? Holohan obviously back this weekend. Molyneux got one more game left on his suspension. He'll be coming back. Featherstone, obviously, when he comes back, White has just joined us. Does it make it really tough for you to decide who's the best 11 to go out there?
Of course it does. It makes it, but that's what about, I suppose, having a squad is about. We're in a time where playing Saturday, Tuesday for the next 6 weeks, so playing again 12 games in however many days it will be, 40 days is a big ask, and the likelihood is you're not going to be able to pick the same 11 through that, through form, through performance, through suspension, through injury. So people need to be ready and available to go in there and take their opportunities. There will be times during the season where again we'll have to pick a team that we think can go and win an individual game and change a winning team, and someone who might have performed really well misses out because we decide to go in a different way, or think that going in a different way is the best way to win that game. So there's always tough decisions to make, and what we've said to the players is, as much as it's our job to make them tough decisions, it's their job to make sure we've got them tough decisions and keep it on our toes, that even if they're not in the squad, they are training at a level that makes them stand out above players in their position and above other people in the team. Because what else can you do? We have to look at, I suppose, the tiniest details that potentially make us pick one player over another player, and whether that be for a place in the starting 11 or a place on the bench, it's tough. But that's the life of a football manager. You have to make them tough decisions. You just hope that on more than most occasions you get them right.